There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything. That power that can make a way out of nowhere.
Today, in the world, there's so much suffering because of that one of prayer.
Welcome, everybody, to the Prayer Revolution. So glad that you're with us. My name is Doyal, and I'm here with my good friend and woodsman, Vira, out there in Florida. And it's good to see you, Vira. This is your daily prayer podcast. We get together every morning, 9 a.m. to 9:30 Eastern Time. We say a prayer, and we take it from there. That's our motto. We say a prayer, and we discuss the mood of prayer in our daily lives. We are glad that you are here with us. We have a live Zoom audience with so many beautiful souls. Seeing Bhakti Louie and his yoga dogs, Alessia, Barbara, Brian, Pat, Lorzales, Bryn, our trusted scribe, Jeff, George, Rinku, so many, Jenna, so many. And then we're also streaming live on Facebook. So if you're tuning in live, thank you. And if you're tuning in out in podcast land, you're listening to this while washing dishes, while in between arguing with your partner, while walking your dog, whatever you might be doing, changing your baby's diapers, we're glad you're here. If you're driving, please focus on the road, and we love you. How you doing, Veer?
Doing great. Yeah, grateful to be with you. Grateful to see so many great souls, wonderful friends and community members come forward with your request, and just to see how you humbly approach those conversations is very lovingly, very kindly, and in an empowering way to bring bring their voices into the conversation. So I really appreciate you having that insight and reaching out and facilitating that.
Love you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about basically, that I'm always thinking about something. Anybody here always thinking about something? Wow.
That's why we're here, Veer. We're here to hear what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Get inside that brain of yours and your heart.
Thinking about that, I'm always thinking about something, and I'm like, whoa. That thing does not stop. That thing just keeps on going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. There is no stopping it. And so, yeah. So that's in the last few days, and really it's just becoming a theme in my life as I'm kind of in a, I'm closing a chapter of my life, entering a new chapter of my life, and just seeing like almost like it's like I'm addicted to doing, so it's like, okay, like, wow, you just spent the last 10 years of your life living in LA, and you're living in New York, you're running a nonprofit organization, helping build community, and now you're stepping out of running it day to day, and now it's the next thing. All right, let's keep on, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, like, wait a minute, pause and reflect and assess, and take that time actually to see, am I bringing my same consciousness into the next thing that I'm going to do? Doyle, you always share, my best thinking got me where I am, and I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, but I know I could keep growing. I know that I could live life in a greater level of consciousness, of God consciousness. And so just taking the time to say, wow, what really worked, and what didn't work, what was it about the last 10 years of my life that really helped me to keep God in the center of my consciousness, and to live each day, each exchange, whether it's an argument or whether it's a challenging moment, or Vera won't stop crying and I'm not sure whatever it is. It's like every single thing in life is that opportunity to bring God into the center and to be a vessel of God's grace. And so that's what I'm thinking about, all the things I'm thinking about, all the things I'm feeling, and just recognizing that it's like a river that is constantly flowing. And to the degree that I can create a little space, a little buffer between my thoughts and my feelings, which are so important. Let me tell you how important they are. They're not so important, in case you didn't get that. to be able to actually, create a little bit more space, a little bit more of a healthy relationship with those thoughts and feelings, so that I'm able to bring Krishna into them.
Yeah. There's a specific moment I can remember. It's like a clear memory when I was in high school and we were working on this project. We had to do like this whole project on like a decade of time in the 1900s. And it was so busy, and everything, you have a project or something in high school, you think it's the end of the world, and like I'm so busy, I got so much going on. And I remember thinking like, just as soon as this test and this project is over next week, like everything will just be like, I'll just have space, and I'll just become more like relaxed, and I'll just like there won't be no more big things in my life. Like I'll just take it, I'm going to take it smooth and easy. And I remember I've been feeling that way ever since, for the last 19 years. It's always been like, just get through the next 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna calm it down. I'm gonna I got to get these few big things just off my plate, these next big things, and as soon as the next 2 weeks are over, like life is just gonna ease out, and I'm not gonna take on any more stuff. I've been feeling that way for 19 years.
Yeah, right. We can become it becomes habitual. It becomes habitual. And so that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, go for it, DJ.
There was another time I was talking to my good friend. He's living in the ashram he's in California now. I remember this was like a couple years ago, and I've been telling people, it's like, I got so much going on, and I'm really trying to just like mellow out, take things off of my plate, and just like really breathe and focus and prioritize. And I'm just realizing that. And he just said, he's like, "So you've been like that your whole life, and I don't know if that's going to change." Like I was coming to this revelation, and he was just like, "I don't know if that's going to change in you." So it's just kind of just relating to this idea that, yeah, like bringing the same consciousness into the next phase of my life, and I've also been doing that for a long time. So I want to hear you pray about that or share about that, or I don't
For
want to
sure.
derail the conversation, but I was just relating in a very, very strong way.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's pray about it. And it's something that we all have a mind. You guys all have a mind, right? You haven't lost it yet, right? Okay, just checking. All right, a little bit. We've got a few that are on the fence.
On the fence.
So if you have a mind, let's take a moment. Let's take a moment right now to pause and just imagine your mind. Imagine it like give it a personality. Give it a personality. Let it be. Yeah, let your psyche, let your mind become a person. And we're just going to take just a minute. We're just going to sit down on the couch with them. Just close your eyes. Just plop back on that couch. And now they're sitting right down next to you. And I just want you to, everything that you think, I want you to see them speaking it. Everything that comes through your mind, just see your friends, just see them speaking it. Whatever it is, maybe it's something that's really exciting, maybe something you're hopeful about, maybe it's something you're afraid of, maybe it's you're wondering why we're doing this right now, or just any comment that could possibly come out. Just see your friend on the couch, just see them speaking it, one thought after another. They're speaking it, they're sharing it. Now this is your roommate. This is your dear roommate that you are living with 24/7. And so let's spend a little bit of time getting to know them. And so just seeing them, taking a little inventory. What are those thoughts like today? What are they coming up with? Are they bouncing all over the place, or are they peaceful and they're not going so crazy right now? Whatever it is, just take those moments right now just to take that inventory. And we're going to take that into our prayer. My dear Lord, I have this roommate, my mind, and sometimes it is my best friend, and other times it's my worst enemy. Sometimes it won't stop talking. It won't stop judging. It makes my life either really beautiful or it can make my life really miserable. My Lord, help me to be able to to step back from the experience of being my thoughts and being my feelings. Help me to be able to step back. Help us all to be able to step back and to recognize that actually we're witnessing. We're the one that's witnessing all of our thoughts, all of our feelings, everything that's taking place in our life. That our consciousness is actually witnessing all of it. And somehow or other, we become so immersed in thinking that we're our thoughts, and thinking that we're our feelings, and thinking that we are our labels and the things we've accomplished in life and the things we failed at, our broken relationships or our promotions, our careers, or our lack of. That all that sum total of our experiences, somehow or other, that we've made that us. But all of those things have been witnessed by somebody. They've been witnessed by us. Please give us the intelligence to be able to pause our lives to make sure that we're actually taking a step back. We're actually entering back into that witness seat, that we're not becoming carried away with the feelings and the thoughts that are running through our mind constantly that can ruin our life. Based on our past, based on our experiences, if we've had negative, traumatic, challenging experiences throughout our life and we let our mind run the show and we think we're our thoughts and feelings, can really just put ourselves in a box and experience so much darkness and so much suffering. Please help us to be able to move beyond the mind, to be able to recognize ourself as the witness, and to have the strength to be able to stay in that seat so that we can gain clarity through our connection with you. We can gain clarity when we sit down and pray to you. We call out your names, that we feel you in the center of our life, that all those thoughts and all those feelings, that we're able to witness those, we're able to accept them as they are without judgment, but then we're able to become playful and how we respond to life with you in the center. Can become so thoughtful and so dynamic with how we respond to provoking situations and challenging times in our life. Keeping you in the center and recognizing that each moment of our life somehow or other is perfectly arranged. Please help us to have that courage and that strength to pause, to sit with ourselves, to be in stillness, to be able to create that space so that we can invite you into it. We call out your names every single day. We call out your names to fill our lives with empowerment, to fill our lives with the courage and the confidence to be able to trust that things are unfolding for a reason and that we can make a difference. Every moment is here to help us to transform our hearts and our lives and to make a difference in the lives of others. Just give us the strength and courage to see that and seize those opportunities to serve, to be instruments of your love. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Vira.
Thank you, Doyal.
Getting to know my little roommate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what everyone's roommate was saying to them, what that friend on the couch was saying.
Mm-hmm.
What was he telling you, Vira?
I was gonna just ask you the same question. I was talking to you guys, so I wasn't really listening to him.
I had a clear message coming through. If anybody wants to share their message, put it on the chat board. A clear message coming through for me, to be honest with you. It was just get your freaking SHIT together. It was just like, man, like you gotta, in the sense of sometimes I feel like I got a lot of energy and I got a lot of interest and I do a lot of things. But something that I have been really thinking about was just, I was thinking of the interview we had a couple days ago with Sri Kala. And he said that he was seeing as like the world is really being shaken up. And it was just like, he was just saying, humans, like, more is being asked of you. And more being asked of me, not meaning because sometimes I gotta try harder, and I got to just like do more, and I'm not doing enough, and it's just like, but I'm so tired already, and I'm doing so much. It's like not that kind of do more, but that kind of like, there's so much time and energy in my life I feel that gets diffused into things that aren't really important. We've talked about it different times, whether it's a screen time, you know what I mean? If you want to give yourself a little heart attack, start monitoring with apps how much time you spend on your screen time on your phone and this and that. Or just, just little things here and there. Like, so anyways, I was just thinking a little bit about that, and really thinking about things I want to do and accomplish and be in my life. And yeah, just all the little, little things in my heart that's like, come on, man, like, stop playing around with that, and like, go and really start to get serious about spiritual life and my pursuits and my goals. And that's what it was telling me. I was looking at my life and I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I see you as somebody who's so sincere and who gives yourself so much. You kind of give yourself. It's like you forget yourself and you're giving. And there's something that's so interesting. Jai and I were talking about it yesterday. Is that there's faith where we're trying our best, and like we've got our demons, and we're just we're not necessarily even gonna work on such a super refined conscious way of living. That may not be in our cards, it may not be in our sight, it may not be kind of where we're at in our life, but we've got faith. We've got faith that if we keep serving, and we keep reaching out to God, we're trying our best, that at the time of death, that and I remember my father's the example that I saw in his life was that there were so many things that he was lacking at his time of death. Self-forgiveness. He had so much. There was anger. There was couldn't forgive himself for felt like he made so many mistakes in his life, and all of a sudden that was gone. It was like a week to live, and it was like God just took all of that away from him, and he was like this loving child again. Totally conscious, totally present, totally just had, and there's that verse in the Bhagavad Gita that I carry what you lack and I preserve what you have. That's just like, okay, like I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect in my life. That doesn't mean like, okay, let's get complacent and stop working on ourselves, but I'm not going to be perfect. And that, thank God that, Krishna is that's built in. Like he's built that in. He knows like we've got so much crap we're working through. We've got such conditioned minds. We're a constant work in progress as long as we're in the material world, and that we're not gonna get to that 108%, check mark. All right, now get on the ship and you're going back to heaven, guys. It's yeah, that part of it is recognizing that actually, man, I am imperfect, and that's going to take it's going to take me being humble, which is such a beautiful quality that just lets God's grace come into our hearts, into our lives. And so as I'm hearing you sharing that, I'm hearing that as one it's like, yeah, like let's remember that we're not going to be perfect, and at the same time let's remember that, let's say, hey, okay, I'm imperfectly perfect, woohoo, like cool, I'm perfect and imperfect simultaneously. All right, cool. Let's celebrate that, and let's keep it moving. And that, for myself, is that I've looked at my external life as where I'm really looking for that validation. And that could be even in my meditation, that could be even in my service, that could be, in the way I interact with people, and so many things. Like, okay, wow, that's great. That's amazing. Like there's an external energy that you're putting out. That's you're doing a great job, but then what's going on inside? What's going on inside? What's going on in the mind? What's going on in the heart? Those thoughts and those feelings. And I just feel like, Krishna again in the Gita, that every thought and feeling that we have is is part of his energy, and it's a gift and a catalyst for our own transformation. So that's where I'm at right now, is like I really want to take that inventory, you know, and I'm finding it to be like tremendously enriching, where something that maybe could spin me out, even I'd be unconscious about it, and like, but I just like have like this thing like, man, what's going on with me, you know, like I wouldn't even notice it, and it's like 2 days later I'm like, okay, what's going on, you know, like I got to sit down, like now it's like 20 minutes later I'm like, what is that? Oh wow, interesting, what triggered that? Oh okay, that happened. Oh, okay, interesting. Like, okay, you know, like, and then I'm back, right? It's like I'm back experiencing life again fully, instead of like, you know, this tension or these thoughts just like pressuring me, or these feelings. Now I've got to do something because like I'm feeling this thing, and if I don't do something, like I'm going to keep feeling it, you know, and like almost like that neurotic kind of internal life, you know, which I think to some degree, if any of us sit down enough with the mind, if any person sits down with the mind, you know, maybe aside from some very enlightened beings, there is just a neurotic roommate in there. There's a total neurotic, like bipolar roommate in there that's like, you know, hate somebody 1 second, you know, no, you got to be grateful for them. You're like, no, but come on, they did that to you. No, but you got to practice tolerance. You know, it's like, you know, it's this wild internal thing going on. And so I'm finding it tremendously enriching to pause, just to be in stillness, and to just start to create that space, you know. And I'm noticing it's like, because I haven't done it as a practice in a while, that the space is like tiny right now. Like it's just like all of a sudden my thoughts and my feelings, and then it's like, you know, like I barely get a little space from them, you know. And so like to keep practicing it, so it's like, wow, like I'm actually witnessing, you know, instead of just being completely wrapped in it. And you know, that's an opportunity that I feel like basically what it does is that when we do sit down to pray, when we do sit down to meditate, when we do, you know, sit down to have a conversation with a loved one, and we're able to witness that, we're able to actually come from a conscious and loving place. When we sit down to chant God's names, it's like the mind can just be, we can be so immersed in that internal dialogue that we barely hear a mantra. Actually, we barely hear a name of God the whole time we're chanting, you know. And that giving ourselves that space, just by taking that inventory and practicing, when we do chant, we're going to be able to actually neglect the mind. We're actually going to be able to really hear those names and experience the joy of union with God through God's holy names. And that's for everything in life. We're going to actually be able to begin to experience it more in its essence, instead of through the filter of our wild roommate.
I think that you articulated so much what I was experiencing and hearing from that roommate, was that it's kind of like get my inner stuff together. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're doing a lot, you're doing stuff, good for you, great, you got things going on, but it's like I know what's going on inside more than anybody. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not fooling nobody. You know what I mean? He's looking at me and he's like, you're not fooling me. You're not fooling me. You know what I mean? And so it's like you can go through your whole life and not address that stuff because the world never sees it. And the world is just applauding you for all the stuff that it does see. You know what I mean? And it's just like, hey man, are you just gonna just kind of like be satisfied with that? You know what I mean? Are you really gonna dig into the stuff that, like, you know, you need to get into, because that's your real growth, and that's ultimately where your sustainable happiness, because all that other stuff gonna fade away, you know. And so
Absolutely.
the crowd is fickle, as they say in Gladiator. That, you know, and the crowd is just wherever we're looking for that validation, wherever we're looking for, you know. And it's like, you can do that, but it's like, man, are you really addressing the inner things you look at? You know, your vices, your anartas, your anxieties, your peace of mind, your connection to higher self, you know. So I appreciate that tremendously, and I think that that voice can be, I think it's a voice of anxiety when we start to ignore it and deny it or resist it. But when we start to partner and listen, we get beyond the chatter of the mind and start to hear the yearnings of our soul,
Mm.
that is calling us to for attention
Mm-hmm.
in a healthy, positive way. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so thank you for reminding all of that. Our,
Mm-hmm.
our good friend Barbara wrote, I found that shame often directs the crazy thoughts for me. Yes, shame of really shame, guilt, they say guilt is I did something bad. Shame is I am bad, and that's just like a direct misconception of ourself,
Mm.
misidentity. It's shame is really a misunderstanding of who we really are. Jeff is asking you, Vera, do you have a particular meditation, mindfulness, etc., that you do? Are you just working to notice your mind in the moment, or yeah?
I don't have a specific practice, Jeff. There are things that I practiced in the past, but really, it's so simple. I mean, it's kind of just like the most simple thing on the planet. It's just giving ourselves time, whether that's a minute or usually it takes a little bit more time than that, but 5 minutes, 10 minutes to literally just to sit down and to be with yourself. And something you can do if you want to really hear that voice, just close your eyes and just start in your mind, just start saying hello, 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 just like start saying something, repeating something again, and you'll hear it and you'll see it. And then from there, then it's like, it goes on its parade, and then it's just really just to just watch it, and immediately speaking, it's just like stacked right on top of our consciousness, and so we don't feel the space. So it feels like we're just thinking, but we're like, oh, I'm witnessing that. Like, I'm not going with it. I'm actually just watching it. And you can do that with your sensations. You could do that with sound, your sensory perception. You could do it with sight. Oh, I'm seeing that, and then you'll see the mind will start to label it and connect it to different things, and connect to different thought patterns. And there's a reason behind that. And I'm studying it a little bit more right now. There's a very there's a very specific reason why our mind has this need to label and connect everything to our greater framework. But the practice is just that simple. Really, it's just pausing, and I like to do it. I've started to pray before I meditate in the morning, and actually just sit in stillness, even just for a few moments. And I'm noticing that I'm actually, just the level of presence, with a little bit of breath awareness and a little bit of, just taking inventory, just kind of coming into that witness seat. Then when I do enter into japa or mantra meditation, it's so much easier to, okay, the thoughts are coming, but not to feel like I'm tangled in them and I'm like being tumbled down the hill with them. Just to be able to, keep bringing it back to the sound of the name. And but yeah, I mean, it's that simple. It's really just taking a pause and witnessing. And you could witness your feelings, you could witness your thoughts, whatever it may be, but just really being in that place of just you're not them, and you're observing them.
Beautiful. Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
I usually find that a pint of ice cream and Netflix helps me connect to my inner self. And so if you ever want to come over sometime, I can teach you and we can do it together. And
Yeah.
different strokes for different folks. So whatever
I, I love, maybe not a full pint, but I'll have a few scoops, and I love getting on the couch with, we could get on the couch together with our roommates, Doyle.
Oh, Krishna, don't take my advice. Don't take my advice. You know what I mean? It's like we have patterns and habits that, like, this brought me misery and lack of fulfillment before. Let me try again from the other side. Oops.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? And I'm studying habits too right now too. I'm just kind of in a space right now of reading a lot and studying, and we all have habits. Like there is something behind it. There's something behind even the most dysfunctional behavior. We know that there's something behind the most horrific violence. There's something behind it. There's actually a need that's being fulfilled, and it's ultimately, of course, it's causing and creating more suffering because it's a negative habit, but
Yeah.
it's neurologically formed, and
Yeah.
yoga,
It's so powerful. Somebody asked me a question once. I was sharing about things like bad patterns in my life and habits and things that I do that like I want to stop and not do. And she asked me, she's like, "What do you get out of what do you get out of doing that?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you get?" She's like, obviously you're choosing that for a reason.
mm-hmm,
There's some trade-off, something that you feel like you're getting out of it.
mm-hmm,
I was
mm-hmm.
like, I'm getting pain and suffering. She's like, no, but like there's some benefit that somewhere subconsciously you think you're going to get, or something you get, this sense of being right, this sense of comfort, this sense of familiarity, this sense of whatever it is,
Avoiding something
avoiding
or
something
whatever.
else. And it was like, yeah, I'm doing so I don't have to look at this. And it's like, wow, to really like whatever choices we're making it even on some subconscious level because there's a trade-off, there's a payoff we think we're going to get. And then I think that healing and growth comes when we recognize that we can get that payoff in healthier other ways. We don't have to just do it unconsciously with
Mm-hmm.
pints of ice cream and Netflix. We can put
Yeah.
more attention to you. That's kind of the dynamic we have on the show. If you guys haven't figured out, I give all the bad advice. Vera gives the good advice, and then you can choose which you want to follow, and then you let us know how they worked out.
Doyle, you give, so you give your heart, and you give vulnerability, and you're humble, and so you're not tooting your horn. But I, on the other hand, extol all the deep insights I have, and I hide all the dirty, dark corners from you guys, so you don't have to experience them.
I know your Dirk Darty corner is like a little speck of dust.
It's there. It's there.
You're a sweetie. So I love all you guys. Love you, Vera. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. It's always wonderful to hear from you, Vera. It's also always wonderful to see the faces that we have on our live Zoom group. And thank you for those tuning in on Facebook Live. If you want to listen to any recordings or check any of our previous episodes, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. I highly recommend you go and check out the interviews that we had this past week with our four friends, Jumuna Jaya, Rajabani, Sri Kala, Monique. You can find them on our recorded episodes and all our previous episodes. And we're here every day. So we will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, same place. Love you guys
Take
all so
care.
much.
Hari Hari.